Hey, good evening. It's been a real powerful day. I'm not going to be negative about it. Everything happens for a reason. I'm speaking about the sign Scorpio and the season of Scorpio. The mechanics of that is that there are 12 signs. Each of those signs are indicative to a season, a place, a behavior. And when we speak of Scorpio, it's a water sign. When we speak of Scorpio, it's a fixed water sign. So the signs also represents different functions and segments of the seasons. By it being a fixed sign, it's collaborating with all the fixed signs: Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus. And so when Scorpio comes, that means that what we call fall is fixed. This is the fall time of the year. When Taurus comes in, that means that it is fixed. Spring is fixed. Time of Taurus. When Leo comes in, that means that the summer is fixed. It comes in between two signs and is fixed. And when Aquarius comes, we know definitely that it's wintertime. So the fixed signs represent, from a seasonal standpoint, different segments of what type of energy that exists during this particular time. The rotation of the earth and the circle is symbolic to a clock. And so the circle itself is a divine symbol. It represents no endings and no beginning. And that's one of the best ways to describe what they call and what we call God. That's infinite, has no beginning, has no end. And so for the physical mind and the surface mind, that's very hard to accept. It's very hard to take in. So to use symbolism is a means by which we're able to see and understand a particular concept, not only through our minds, but through our hearts and soul. Symbols are powerful. And so getting back and saying that the 12 signs represents 12 different aspects of human experience, Scorpio represents passion, the unknown, investigation, research, sexuality, other people's money. And it represents the ability to leave the physical plane and go into the astral plane, which is different dimensions that we exist in. We're not just physical. We have an emotional aspect, we have a mental aspect, and we have a spiritual aspect. Each of those aspects have a dimension within itself. And so when we talk about Scorpio, we are talking about also the affiliations with Scorpio. So you have Scorpio, you have the planet which we call Pluto, and we have the 8th house. They're all connected in a particular type of way because the qualities and because the energies are similar. And so when we talk about Scorpio again, and we talk about Pluto, which is similar and have affiliation, and we talk about the 8th house, we are talking about different domains, different energies that exist in our lives from day to day, from hour to hour, from second to second. Now, by it being the season, and the season is in the sign Scorpio, what Scorpio represents is what time it is. Did y'all hear me? It's what time it is. So as I gave you some of the properties of Scorpio, you know one of them is investigation. This is a perfect time for you to do investigating. Whether if you're trying to find something in terms genetically, the genetics, and trying to find out about your ancestors, this is a powerful time for investigating. If you are wondering about what's going on in the world from behind the scenes, because Scorpio represents behind the scenes, secrets, power, a lot of the people who have the real power in the society, you don't even see them. They are unknown. And so Scorpio represents people, places, and things that is unknown but has a powerful impact on our lives, have a powerful impact with our being, because we have aspects of ourself that's unknown. We have aspects of ourself that is powerful. We have aspects of ourselves that is so powerful that we don't even see it. It's unknown. You can heal yourself, Scorpio. You can go within yourself, Scorpio. You can find out things that's not told to you on an everyday level or mainstream. And you go within and you seek these things, and the minute that you start seeking, there's a power that's affiliated with what we call Scorpio. It's just a label. So any type of meditation, any type of going within, all that represents Scorpio, going within. And so when we go within, we also are connecting to a principle that I do on YouTube, and I'm asking all of you who are listening to go to Suit Not on YouTube, because I do a real special detailed explanation of sex. Because when most people hear the sex, they think of something physical, and it is physical, but there are higher aspects of it because it represents principles. It represents the principle of three. 1, 2, 3. And so sexuality and coming together is synonymous. So if you're speaking, you're a speaker. That's the number one, the male aspect. And then you're speaking out to a crowd or to an audience. That crowd and audience represents the subconscious. And you're feeding and giving information. You're giving certain ideas. You're giving certain concepts. And you are speaking it out. That's why we have to be very careful on how we speak out things, because it is part of a principle that when you speak out something, the seed, the sperm, the seed connects with a object or a place or a life form that will take that in. And it taking it in is a principle in that when they take it in, there's something that will happen from the speaker and the receiver. 1, 2. Now it is for the male or the conceptualist or the speaker to send out a message that is powerful and strong. Just like the sperm in terms of the egg, when it goes to the egg, then the egg will only accept certain type of qualities of these millions of sperms that come. So when you're speaking, when you are connecting with someone else, beyond just the physical, speaking, and you're talking to your children or you're talking to your wife, all those are interactions that have something to do with the principle of what we call sex. So it's not always physical. Metaphorically, it represents male assertiveness, female receptive, and coming together, and through the male and the female, they become one. And becoming one, there's a result from that, and an energy that comes from that, which is could be an idea, it could be healing, it could be a concept. Electricians literally use the different tools that they have as male and female. Male and female doesn't mean gender, it means principle from this context. And so when you have the plug, for instance, you have the plug and then you have the socket, you stick the plug into the socket. The plug and the socket become one, and you get what you call electricity. When you sit in your car and you start your car, well, it's different now, you push a button. But you can take the key or you push the button, you push that button, that's that force that comes. That force sends a signal to electrical, mechanical object or whatever, however it may stimulate it, and then the car starts. So you got 1, 2, and then the car starts. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, and the number 3. If you're born on the 3rd, if you're born on the 30th, if you're born on the 12th of any month, that means that you have the ability to have a special type of connection and creativity in whatever you do. And Scorpio is so vast, so I'm only speaking of just a portion of it. And when we go to Scorpio and Pluto in the 8th house, we're dealing with the same type of energy, the same type of principle. And as I said before, with Scorpio season, this is a time for you to go within. This is a time for you to do research. A lot of times during Scorpio season, for everyone in general, sometimes it can be a conflictive time. Sometimes we have repressed or suppressed different energies in the past, and when Scorpio comes, it's going to come up. So some things that you thought you had resolved, some things in your marriage you might have thought you resolved, some things you may have thought you resolved at your job, now's the time for you to re-examine with Scorpio, because you'll have a tendency to suppress, because Scorpio is an energy that likes to be private, not necessarily want anybody on the outside to know. So a lot of Scorpios are very self-contained, and they will be angry or they'll be going through something, but you wouldn't know it. It's not that they don't express anger. There's no way. They express it, but most of the time they like to have control of themselves. So control, privacy, and keeping things within is a quality that we will have a tendency to have through the messages of Scorpio. Those messages also can either enlighten us, Scorpio season, or it can be destructive, Scorpio season. It all depends on how you handle it. How we take in information is very important. And Scorpio is also a time to release, to let go. Whatever feelings that you have, whatever concept that you have that's not conducive for your growth, Scorpio says the positive message is to let it go. The negative message is to keep it in and be suppressing different things that you need to release. If you don't release it, you can get sick. There's a statement that I am familiar with that's called, "The organs weep the tears that the eyes refuse to shed." And that's a good metaphor for Scorpio, because how we feel, how we act, how we think is foods to our substance, is food to our souls. And if we don't periodically, Scorpio also represents the bowels, and using the bathroom every day, not 2 times a week, not 3 times a week, but every day. Because if you don't, that Scorpio principle again represents release, and it represents the bowels. So a lot of people, because they are not releasing, then they have a lot of stuff in them that can back up inside them and cause all types of disease, discomfort, and cause you to have a lot of ailments that have something to do with not releasing like you should. So we talked about releasing, we talked about investigation, we talked about research, we talked about power behind the scenes, and we talk about, well, we didn't say anything about regeneration. Regeneration and transformation also is a powerful time for Scorpio. So those are the things and those are the messages. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you each sign singularly and itemize the signs. Scorpio, as I said before, is a very powerful time. November the 1st is when the new moon in Scorpio starts. So everything that I said, it'll be good for you to have you a journal or have you a means by which you can know when that period starts, because in terms of the moon, the new moon between the full moon is a powerful time for starting, initiating. So all the different messages that I've given you about Scorpio between the new moon and to the full moon, new moon in Scorpio, full moon in Taurus, everything in between that is some things that you need to investigate in your life. Scorpio research, and when we talk about the two signs, Scorpio and Taurus, we're talking about money, finances, banking, debts. All those things would need to be handled and would need to be released in a particular type of way. Releasing your debt, handling your debt in some type of way. Between the new moon and the full moon, it'll be a very powerful time. And if you're not able to do it between the new moon and full moon, you still got that message. That don't mean because it goes in the Sagittarius, you say, well, all right, I'm going to just let that go. Have the discipline and have the power and have the understanding to go within yourself, because this is a time for it. Scorpio is one of your most powerful signs. And remember, when you're born under the sign Scorpio, that means that there's a message for you. The soul comes down here at a specific time, year, place, and month. And what the sun represents, if you have the sun in Scorpio, which means that the earth in relation to the sun was at a particular angle that we call Scorpio. That's what a sun sign is. Okay? The sun is not in a sign. The earth in relation to the sun is at a particular angle, which is called Scorpio. A particular angle that's called Sagittarius. A particular angle that's called Capricorn. All these are angles, and they create different energies with these different angles. So each angle has a purpose. Each angle has a message. Each angle can give you insight of the 12 different aspects of who we are as human beings. And as I say again, Scorpio is one of your very most powerful messages because it deals with life and death. So your soul came down at this particular angle. If you have the sun sign in Scorpio, you came down with this particular angle for a purpose. The sun represents the purpose. The sun represents vitality. The sun represents the reason. So the reason that your soul came down, okay, at the time of Scorpio is for you to experience intense living, for you to be a researcher, for you to investigate life. Understand that the only way that you can live, you have to die. And so we die every day. If you're 10 years old, you're not supposed to act like you're 5. You're supposed to die from that period of time and then be reborn and you become 10. You're supposed to die from being 10 and now you're 15. So you died from being 10. Now you have regenerated 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now you should be a total different being in a sense. Transformation. Then from 15 to 21 and so on and so on. So life and death are close together. In order for you to truly live, you have to die. That's the message of Scorpio. Thank you so much. Go on my YouTube, the Suit Knotting YouTube, and there's a lot of things that's on there. I am an astrologer. I am available to do charts. I am available to do many different things for you astrologically. I have 50 years experience. So I will connect with you, and I will give my business number. I got a new phone, so I haven't memorized it yet, and I really wasn't thinking about really saying anything on the level of business, but it just came out. I wanted you to know what my gift is. and what I share. God bless you. See you soon.